So we'll start the next part, right? So this is budgeting. So hope that you all are familiar with budget, right? So you have some basic idea of budgeting. So budget is the quantitative expression of proposed plan of action by management for a specific future period, right? So how the business planning their operations when you quantify it, especially financial term and quantified term, it's a budget. Quantitative expression of the proposed plan, how we are planning our production, how we are planning our sales, how we are planning the expenses, how we are planning our profit, right? How we are planning the asset liabilities end of the period, future period. That is budget. So budget, we can broadly divide into two categories: the long run budget and short run budget. We mainly focus on the short run budgets, the operational budgets. Operational budgets are coming from operating plan, short run plans. Short run plans derive from the strategic plan. Strategic plan derive from the strategy of the business, overall business strategy. So basically, strategy you convert into the long run planning. Based on the strategy, you can develop the long run plan. Then you can divide that into short run plan. Accordingly, you can have the short run budget. For the long run plan, you can even have long run budget. But here you see that the arrow goes other way as well. That is because sometimes when you have this short run budget, right? When you prepare the budgets, you may you prepare the budget, and when the actual results comes, you may identify that there are some gaps, right? So then that may be because of not operationalization, even planning side issues. So even the short run budget will provide input for the short run planning, and that will even lead for long run planning. Sometimes even there is a problem in your strategy. There will be a feedback coming from the other. Because the strategy, what we said, is not something static, right? So it is dynamic, right? Changing, not fixed. Right? So generally, when you have a strategy, accordingly, you can have the long run plan, and you can have the short run plan, and you can have the budget. But there will be the feedback from the budget that affect to the short run plan. You can revise sometimes short run plan. Accordingly, you may revise even long run plan, and sometimes even your business plan. Right? That's why you find the arrow the other way as well. So, if you take why budget is important, the functions or the purpose of budgets, to plan annual operation, we have to prepare an annual budget, operating budget. And when you prepare the budget, you cannot isolate to prepare the production budget and sales budget and marketing, activity, distribution, likewise. So you need to coordinate activities of the various parts of the organization. So budgeting helps that coordinating the different activities of the various parts of the organization and ensure these parts are working together, each other. Right? Because ultimately to achieve the goal of the organization, all the parts of the organization should work together. So when you're preparing a budget, automatically the contribution of all these divisions take into consideration. So that budget can communicate the responsibility center management, the plan. Right? Normally you can set the targets, right? Sales target, production targets, marketing target, finance people target, all that relates with the budgets. So you can use it as to communicate the plan for different responsibility centers. And when they have budget, when you have that communication, it can motivate the managers to achieve the organization goal. You know that what is your task, right? To achieve that goal, so ultimately that helps to achieve the organization goal. And the budget is the forecasted future. And you can compare the actual with the budget. Then, if there is a deviation, you can take some control activity, part of monitoring, part of management, right? Controlling the activities, you need the budget. We plan outcome, actual outcome, compare them. The budget is a plan outcome in quantitative, right? Then you can use this actual and budget in performance evaluation, whether that particular responsibility manager has achieved their given task, right? Expected task. So you can use it for evaluating the performance of the managers. Budget with the actual, right? Right. So normally budget is prepared for a future. You can prepare budget for a specific period. Normally there will be annual budget. Then you can divide it into quarterly and even subdivide it into monthly ones, right? So selected period for budget is prepared, we call budget period. It can be a month, it can be a quarter, it can be a year. Then, in order to proper function of budgeting process, you need a proper budget administration. Normally, there will be a budget committee, right? Which consists of high level of executives to ensure realistic budget. Budget should be realistic. These are targets. These are the plans that we are going to achieve. So if you set a budget beyond achievable level, so that will demotivate all these divisional managers, responsibility managers, as well as the staff, right? So you should ensure the budgets are realistic. And when you are working to achieve the objectives, these sections should be worked collaboratively, right? Coordination should be there. So that you should have a budget committee, and that budget committee has a head we call budget officer, right? The role of budget officer is to coordinate the functional budget. We have different functional areas like production, sales, purchase of raw material, labor, overhead, right? All these functional budget you can convert into finally master budgets. The overall responsibility with the budget officer. And normally budget is prepared with the support of so many divisions. So then certain guidelines should be given for the parties who involved in the budgeting process, so that we can use budget manual. Prepared by the budget officer, describe the objective and procedures involved in the budgeting process. Right? Some are they already use a manual, right? Even to operate a machinery, we have to use a manual. Taking a guideline, how to operate that particular item. Similarly, the budgeting process, budget officer normally have a budget manual, so that will guide the parties who are involved in the budgeting process. Other budgeting approaches, one is the top-down approach. Traditionally, it was the approach used, right? Top management set the target goals and you prepare the budget for each and every division and you ask them to follow top-down. But in the present world, it is more bottom-up for the participative budget. You get the proposals from each and every division based on their capability and more. Right? That get together and even top level you may have the strategy, but you consider the inputs coming from the bottom level, right? Each functional level managers. So like a bottom up approach here at the bottom up here, more suitable for the participating. Right? Everyone can comment, can provide their own proposal. Participative approach. That's the government budget is participative. Right? Government institution, all the government institutions are asked come up with their own proposal. Right? Raja Ayathanawali, treasury ki mahano, right? Ilanga urutte capital expenditure manawadu, right? Capital expenditure proposals then. The age compile with it amataro policy decision making apni tomo cabinet level leki tama manawari yawana that also incorporate. Right? But it is basically participate. Proposal is the adala government institution against the money proposal say. It amatara top level again, right? Ministry level samahara decisions enna puluwa. The university government university හැම එකක්ම ඒකලයි capital budget එකයි ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ expenditure වලට අවශ්‍ය budget එක university එකෙන් හදන්න. University එක තමයි ඉතිරි කරන්නේ, right? Basically ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මෙච්චර විතර student take care කරනවා. ඒ යනවා මෙච්චර අලුතෙන් staff එක recruit කරනවා. අපිට computers replace කරන්න ඕනේ, අලුතෙන් furniture ගන්න ඕනේ. ඔය ටික budget කරලා. ඔය ටික compile වෙනවා. It amatara apita government එකේ policy decision එකක් ගන්නවා. Now we want to increase the students entrance by 20%. ඒක consider කරලා ඒක තව වෙනම අලුතෙන් inputs දානවා. That they will consider and they will communicate that also to the university whether they can accommodate. University can, you know, we need some extra space, we need some building or something then like, right? So then you have to prepare. So it is a participating ultimately. So in an organization also that is possible, right? You can't allow the top management, director board to set the overall goals and strategy, right? They will have the overall strategy, but you have to consideration what the factory manager want to say, what is there, right? Even the procurement officers, right? Even marketing people, right? HR people, all that different functional level suggestions take into consideration. That is called participative approach. If there is no significant change in the environment and you are not expecting to make a significant change in your business structure, you can go ahead with the incremental budget. You take something business like a retail business, supermarket or something, right? So you are operating very well at the moment. So when you prepare the next year budget, you can have the current year operation and you plan some kind of increase of sales and accordingly cost of sales, other expenses, right? Small percentage increase, so you can prepare the budget. It's a traditional approach. The budgeting where the next year budget is prepared based on the current year result. Current year result. Extra amount is added for the growth or inflation. If you take some of the government organizations, they are usually carry out similar type of functions, right? So next year also you are not going to change drastic change. So basically, you have to make some inflation adjustment, right? And prepare the next year budget, incremental budget. Zero-based budget means they are totally different. Where then you are going to justify each and every cost item that you prepare in the next year, cost and revenue item. Zero-based, you are not taking the current year as the basis. Okay? Actually, now, according to present economic condition, right? Because the environment is changing. So sometimes incremental budget may not work for most of the business. You have to have the sales forecast next year separately, right? It's not affected by the current year sales, right? Because environment is changing, right? Significantly, like the COVID Galle, after post-COVID, then right? So we are in a global crisis now, right? Here Ukraine war එකේ අපිට අපේ impact එක බොහොම අඩුයි, right? Israel Palestine එක ඊට වඩා global impact එකක් එනවා, right? තුන වශයෙන් impact එක Middle East වල oil production impact is a serious impact in Sri Lanka. And that's the oil prices in the area. Bigger. Or very minimal in production is oil supply shortage. Right? But some other countries to what extent other countries going to more, right? Because the key cut the Lanka passport or is somebody here, right? We can get Israel warnings, intelligence, we will get them. Yeah, there is a political Israel Prime Minister very unpopular at the moment. Right? Prime Minister. Right? Election that people are already known. Maybe some kind of political right impact. Now it has created huge threats. Right? So now they are responding. Right? So then that can be a kind of not exactly third world war, but many countries will involve, right? To adverse impact of business operations, right? Worldwide, the energy issue is happening. And even condition even when you're preparing budgets, the present figures may not be very important. So you have to go for zero based. This is the method budgeting which require each cost element to be specially justified as actions of activities to budget that relates to are being undertaken for the first time. Make appropriately correct, right? So base incremental and the zero base and right? We usually get a pedagogue observe in a picture and university out government organization join before he joins the university. The annual budget if you ask to prepare the budgets. So he just passed out, right? So you know all these concepts and zero-based budgeting, everything. He had prepared he had put a lot of effort and prepared a zero-based budget, right? By justifying all the figures and all that. Present to the head of the division, right? He has looked at it, what you have done. You could have had 10% for all the figures in the last year, right? So they were using incremental figures because that's a normal government organization, service organization, right? So he has taken about 1 week, lot of hours, right? So all that, not necessary actually, right? Because there is no significant change in the operation, right? Government ministry right? Regular service right? Next year also you are not, if you are not having any special project, right? Any kind of expansion of the business, right? Usually it will be the incremental budget, right? Make all adjustment for the inflation, right? Then we have the other area, activity-based budgeting, right? I think we have this one of the group, right? So we'll be doing these things in detail, right? We have allocated this one of the group, right? So I'm focusing on the budgeting process. Prepare the budget. Now, first of all, you have to communicate the budgetary policy guideline for the people responsible for the preparation of budgets. All the people should be acknowledged, right? What are the overall business objectives, right? Basic guidelines in the budget preparation. Then, this is very important. What is the factor that restricts the output? Main factor which restrict the next year operation. Two broad factors affecting to businesses operation. One is sales, the other one is production. Right? So, if the business is in very, you are selling a competitive product, right? So your restricting factor is the sales, right? The restricting factor is the sales. You can't sell whatever the number of units you produce. You have to create the demand. So most of the businesses, the factor which restricts the output is the sales. In that case, first you have to prepare the sales forecast. You have to start budget with the sales forecast. But really, there are certain businesses. The restricting factor is the production. Based on your production capacity, whatever the number of units you produce, you can sell. Right? So demand is there, like you're selling kind of homogeneous product, right? Price වගේ right? හාල් මොලක් වගේ ගත්තොත් ඒගොල්ලන්ට demand එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි. but ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ production එක විකුණන්න. right? එයාලට තියෙන්නේ number of units they can produce. Right? Production is the restriction. Sale you need not worry. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි හිතමු private power station, right? Whatever the number of units you produce, you can sell to the CET, electric board, right? The sales ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. You have to budget the production, right? එහෙම contract එකක් තියෙනවා, right? Whatever your total output you can sell either to government or another supplier, or there is a market. You are a small producer in a huge market. So, right? Economic perfect competition, right? So similar products, right? So you need not to create demand, right? You need not to very much worried about the marketing, sales, promotion, and all. So main restricting factor is the production. Production budget. But practically, most of the businesses, you have to create the demand. Your product is differentiated product from other products. So they basically, you have to create the demand. So then we have to start with the sales plan. Based on sales, you have to determine the production. Right? The sale letter and production plan by considering the inventories, opening and closing inventories. Right? Based on the sales, you can forecast the production. Based on the production, you have to determine the material usage, then the material purchase, labor, overhead, other functional budgets. Right? Sales budget, sales, production, material, labor, overhead, functional budget. Then you can prepare the master budgets. Master budget means budget and financial statement. Right? Budget income statement, budget balance sheet, right? Those. Then when you prepare the budgets, functional level, you have to negotiate with the superiors. Negotiate. Right? Then you have to coordinate with all the functional departments. Right? Support production plan, material, sales. You can have the sales, but there may be sometimes restriction of material or something, labor or something. Right? Even consider negotiate, coordinate, and have a review. Finally, accept the budget by the overall organization. Right? And government budget take a budget proposal in the parliament take a debate. Right? How is totally right? Budget proposal mainly you discuss plus and minus, right? Where you have to make a change. Accordingly, you make some amendment. And finally, everyone agree. This is how we are going to spend and how we are going to generate the revenue the next year. So that is approved. Finally, accept the budget. And you can have the ongoing review, right? Right. Okay. Right. So here you see that relationship among the different budget, right? So company objectives, policies, and current year figures may take into consideration, and business condition, outlook of the industry, all that influence for your sales forecast. Sales forecast. Based on the sales forecast, you can have the production forecast. Forecast only the quantity. Right? The sales forecast taking sales budget. Production forecast එකේ production budget එකට එනවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් original production budget කියන එක නම් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් quantity විතරයි තියන්නේ. right? මොකද මේ production cost එක කියන එක income statement එකත් එක්ක එන නිසා. Then you can have these other budgets like production එකට අදාළව material, labor, overhead budget. Sales related selling and distribution expenses may be there. Then administrative expenses, research and development, even some capital expenditure budget. Right? So මේ සමස්තයෙන් තොරතුරු අරගෙන අපි හදනවා master budget. මෙතන master budget කියන එකෙන් කතා කරන්නේ budget income statement and the balance sheet. Right? මේ financial accounting term එකෙන් ගත්තොත් cash budget එක කියන්නේ budget cash flow statement. Right? හැබැයි සාමාන්‍ය tradition එකේදී management accounting වල cash budget එක වෙනම master budget එකකින් එළියේ වෙනම budget එකක් විතර. Right? Normally traditionally you call master budget budget income statement and budget balance sheet. General statement of financial position and general statement of profit loss. Right? One can call even cash budget piece the budget cash flow statement. Right? So part of the master budget. Right? The master operating budget means budgeted income statement, budgeted balance sheet. The budgeted balance sheet එක හදන්න අපිට stock, debtors, creditors budget කරගන්න වෙනවා. Right? Plan කරගන්න. Cash budget right? So we are going to take one major activity and prepare those functional budget and the master budget. And that's what we are going to discuss. So the sales budget taking production budget taken right? It was the selling general administrative expenses overhead budget production based material budget, labor budget, and factory overhead, production overhead budget. We first focus on these functional budgets. So first step is to prepare the sales budget. So it shows the expected sales for a specific period. It present both in rupee value and the unit. So this is the most difficult budget to prepare practically. Examination content is the easiest one because you will be given the sales forecast multiplied by the rupee value, right? But practically that sales forecast quantity is the most difficult thing you to forecast. There you have to consider so many factors, right? The recent period, economic, industry condition, market research, pricing policy, advertising, sales promotion, competition, all that take into consideration. Right? So practically, the most difficult part of the budget is the preparing the sales budget. Because if you made a mistake in the sales forecast, that will affect all other budget. Based on sales, you forecast your production. Based on your production, you have to forecast your material purchase, usage, material purchase, labor, overhead, selling and distribution, all that. Right? So this is the most critical part when it comes to actual budgeting process. Sales forecast. Right? So many factors take into consideration. Right. So then we will take this activity. Classroom activity budgeting. So you were given 31st December end of current year කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා, right? මොකද අපි හදන්න යන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුද්ද January, February, March 3 months වල budget එක, right? එතකොට අපි හිතමු දැන් මේ 31st March ඇත්තටම ඇවිත් තියෙනවා 31st December, right? So you have the balance sheet, property, plant and equipment, current asset we have sales, current asset we have inventory, raw material and the finished good. Debtors you were given debtors from the November sales and December sales, right? මේ internally හදන balance sheet එක නිසා මේකේ break up තියෙනවා, right? This for management accounting purpose to prepare the budget, we have prepared this for the master sales වලින් තමයි ඉන්නේ. Then you have some trade investment and cash. Then stated capital ordinary shares, retained earning, creditors from November and December, creditors la තියෙනවා. Mass decker purchase වලින්, tax payable and dividend payable. Following forecasted information available for 2024, January, February, March, April, May, June, මාස 6ක sales forecast එක දීලා තියෙනවා, right? Now this is practically what is very difficult thing. That's why I told you in examination context, like in activity, this is very easy. You are given the sales forecast. Sales budget is very easy. Then multiply it by the selling price, right? 20% of the monthly sales will be for cash, and the rest 80% will be for credit. Cash sales 20%, credit sales 80%. Sales prices, cash sales 580, credit sales 600. Prices දෙකයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ, right? Cash sales වල discounted price එකක් තියෙනවා. Credit sales little higher price. Material and labor requirement, direct material 2 kilogram per unit, price 75 per kilogram. Direct labor 1.5 hours, 120 rupees per hour. Manufacturing overhead costs are absorbed to product cost on the basis of direct labor hour. Overhead absorption rate is 80 per hour. Non-manufacturing overhead are as follows. Variable selling expenses 20 rupees per unit. Distribution, fixed cost per month. Non-manufacturing overhead, fixed cost. Distribution 15,000, administrative 25,000 and depreciation 10,000. Inventory, now this is the inventory policy. The inventory of raw material equal to next month production requirement will be maintained. ඊළඟ මාසේ production requirement එකට අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණයට raw material closing stock එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Finished good equal to requirement of next 2 months sales. මාස දෙකක sales requirement එක finished goods වල තියෙනවා. Finished goods are valued at prime cost. They can finished goods වලට ගන්නේ direct material, direct labor and manufacturing overhead විතරයි. Sorry, prime cost can direct material and direct labor, direct cost only, right? Finished good value කරන්නේ manufacturing overhead ගන්නේ නැහැ, right? Again, closing stock එක value කරනවා. There will no a work in progress, right? Work in progress ignore කරන්න කියනවා. Purchasing and selling. Payment of raw material made on average 2 months after the delivery. Again, purchases, raw material, all credit. Because payment made 2 months after delivery. That's it. Right? Payment for raw material will be made 2 months. Again, credit purchase. October credit purchase. Given the month pass. Sales selling 20% cash, 80% credit කියලා කියනවා. Then the debtors will be paid 50% sales during the month of sale. විපරණ මාසෙක 150ක් debtors ලගෙනවා. 30% sales during the following month. 20% second month. විකුණන මාස 50යි ඊළඟ මාසේ 30යි මාස දෙවෙනි මාසෙදී 20යි. All together 90%. Sorry, 100% cover, right? අමාරු මේක තව complicated කරනවා bad days තිබ්බොත් මේක bad days නෑ, right? 100% recover. Other payment, direct wages are paid during the month they incur. Manufacturing overhead include annual depreciation of machinery 120,000. Fixed overhead incurred in equal amount each month and paid in the month in which they incur. The fixed overhead එක ඒ මාසෙට ගෙවනවා. මේ cash information දීලා තියෙන cash budget එක හදන්න. Income tax for quarter ending 31st March is estimated 40,000 and will be paid on 31st March 2024. Together with the income tax payable of the last year. Yeah, the payable එකක් තියෙනවා ඒකයි ඊළඟ මාස තුන එකයි එකතු කරලා අපි ගෙවනවා කියනවා. Then all other manufacturing and non-manufacturing costs paid during the year. It is expected to sell trade investment in the January. Right. අපිට කියන්නේ January, February, March මාස තුනට මේ බජට් ටික හදන්න. Right. Okay, first we can have the sales budget. Sales budget. This is the format. Right. You can use this format and prepare. First you can have the format and fill this. Right. Sales budget එක හරියට පුළුවන්. ඉතලා format එක හදාගන්න. Can complete. Okay.
You watch the video American.
Every turn of the year. Take baran ko na namin. Take baran ko na namin.
That will urge you to get married.
So did you get it? Huh? Someone?
The makeup. But you think that it's for the take up the new university, the best of all. Yeah, that is not practical at all. No? That is charter. दिलू क्या वाला था देखे दिलू के ये इसको नहीं दिखाता
So we can just have the format. Sales forecast and the prices. Here we have the sales forecast. January, February, March 2000, 2000, 3000. And selling price, cash price 580, credit 600. And 80% of the sales credit, 20% cash. Right. So sales units are given 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Cash sales 20%. Credit sale 80%. Selling price cash 580. And credit 600. You can subtract this. Finally, you can have the total sales. Got a 2000 20% into 600. 1000 into 80%. Sorry. And not 2000 into 20% into 580. 2000 into 80% into 6. February 10. March 3000. 20% into 580. 3000. 80% into 600. You can have the sales. Sorry, the sales would be මේකට යන්න. හරි. මේක sub category එක. Cash and credit. Right. So මේකේ prices දෙකක් තියෙන නිසා මෙතන price එක පෙන්නන්න ඕන නම් පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Because these are internal purpose, the report prepared for internal purpose, not like financial reporting. Then you can have different format. Basically, you need to present cash and credit sales separately, right? That is important. That's and the total. That's it. Sales වල break up එක දාලා තියෙනවා. අපර මෙතන sales price එක දැම්ම නම් ඒක ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. sales එක prices දෙකක් තියෙනවා. 600 and 580. එක price එකක් තිබ්බම අපිට කෙලින්ම unique price එක මෙතන පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන්. right? Right? Sales plan. Then production budget we can prepare in unit. The production budget shows the expected number of units to be produced within the specific future period. Basically, you have to adjust the inventory to the sales. Finished good inventory. The product sales done only. If there is no closing or opening inventory, sales equal to the production. Right? The sales forecast is 2,000, 2,000, 3,000. But here, the question says, inventory policy, finished goods equal to requirement of next 2 months sales. Maintaining the stock. Right? What about the plan? After that, finished goods stock up, inventory 4,000 units out of the mullet. That is what December January mullet 4,000. Right? Ekak hari ini 2,000 mass record derivative right? Policy derivative. January sales 2,000, February sales 2,000, altogether 4,000. 2 months sales available at the closing stock of December means opening stock of January. Right. එහෙනම් අපිට ඊළඟ ඇක්ටිවිටි එක හදන්න පුළුවන් 2024 වල sales requirement එක right unit ඒකට ඒකේ opening stock එක අඩු කරන්න ඕන මොකද opening stock එක හදන්න ඕනේ නැහැ right closing stock එක reduce කරන්න right incomplete production खाली sales budget එකේ තියෙනවා අපිට sales forecast now since the finished good requirement is next 2 months, that is why the question gives you sales forecast even we are preparing budget only for January, February, March. You have the sales of April, May, June, right? ඉතරට දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ දීලා තියෙන දොර production එක plan කරලා. right? දැන් අපිට 2000යි 3000යි අපිට කොහොමද තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට April 4,000, May 6,000. sale. ඒකත් අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා February closing stock එක වෙන්න ඕනේ March, April sale එක. right? ඊට පස්සේ March වල closing stock එක වෙන්න ඕනේ April, May sale එක. Can take that also into consideration and continue. This is quite straightforward. January sales requirement 2000. January opening stock is 4000, that is given. But you need the closing inventory equal to February and March sales. February sales 2000, March sales 3000, altogether 5000. Right? Make on after closing stock add kala maybe net karama 3000 production requirement yakena. Right? 2000 plus 5000 minus 4000. So 3000 production requirement. February, now January closing stock become opening stock of February. February finished good requirement should be March and April sales. April sales 4000 here. March 3000. So 7000 stock active. 7000 plus 2000 minus 5000 should be 4000. Right? Closing inventory should be next 2 month production sales requirement. The February closing stock on March and April sales requirement that is given in the sales forecast. March opening inventory 7000, March sales 3000, but you need a production. You need a closing inventory equal to the April and March, May sales. April and May sales 10,000. April 4000, May 6000, all to the 10. Right? Okay. And the sales closing stock එක දෙක තියෙන්න ඕන. ඒක තියෙන්න ඕන. opening stock එක අඩු වෙනවා. You can calculate the monthly production. Closing stock එක ඊළඟ මාසවල විකුණන්න stock එක produce කරලා තියෙනවා. Opening stock එක තියනවා කියන එක මම හදාන්න දෙයක් නෑ, already it is available. Right? January, end of January we need 5,000 stock. That is included in March sales. For the January sales we need 2,000. Altogether we need 7,000 units. Of that 4,000 already available at beginning of January. So our production requirement is 3,000. Right? Likewise, you can calculate. That's the production. Then we can have the operating budgets, the material usage. So material usage, we can take the same activity. Material usage, so which is the we need 2 kilograms of raw material to produce 1 unit. Okay, unit එකක් හදන්න material kilo දෙකක් ඕන. And price is ₹75 material. And a production multiply by 2 into 75. Material usage. අපිට material usage එක අර වගේම බලන්න පුළුවන්, right? Material usage okay. Production requirement. Material usage budget. Prepare the material usage budget. Material usage. Material usage ගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට අපි වාගත්තනේ production එකට. Production requirement. Then material and load. Yes. Number of kilograms of material per unit. So material usage in kilograms. Right? Usage in kilograms වලින් කතා මැදි. Production requirement එක දැන් අපි වාගත්තනේ. 3,000, 4,000, 6,000. $3,000, 4,000, 6,000. altogether 13,000 units produced. So හැම unit එකක් පාදන්න කිලෝ 2 ගාණක්. January month එකේ 6,000 kilograms ඕනේ. February වල 8,000 ඕනේ. March වල 12,000. මම එක වෙනම budget එකක් දීලා right? Material usage. Quite straightforward, right? දෙකෙන් වැඩි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. Production requirement එක අපි වාගත්තා number of units to be produced 3,000, 4,000, 6,000. Multiply it by 2 per unit. එක unit එකක් බලන්න කිලෝග්‍රෑම්.
India. I don't know. Again, what is that?
Right? මෙතන total එක එනවා 26,000. Right? Then material purchase budget. මේක lazy මේක පිළිබඳව වැඩි කරලා ගන්න තියෙනවා. Right? Material purchase budget we need the we have to first identify the material stock. The material stock එක base වෙනවා production requirement එකට. Right? The inventory of raw material equal to next month production requirement. එක මාසයක production එකට අවශ්‍ය කරන material ඕනේ. Right? So එහෙනම් material usage එක දැන් අපි හොයාගත්තා 6,000, 8,000, 12,000. මේක අපිට total column එක ගන්න බෑ මොකද opening stock closing stock අපි බලන්නේ monthly වල right opening material stock එකයි closing material stock එක adjust කරලා unit to be purchased ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ වැඩි කරලා cost එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Unit ගාන 75 per unit වැඩි කරාම cost එක ගන්න. March වල closing stock එක April වල production එක වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ දෙකකින්. ඒ April වල material usage එක හොයා ගන්න ඕනේ. material usage එක හොයාගෙන ඒක වැඩි කරලා ගන්න. January February වලට මේ තොරතුරු වලින් කෙලින් හදාගන්න පුළුවන්.
11.
Right. So that opening stock of material, now the material opening stock, raw material, that also given, right? 31st December balance sheet, we have raw material stock 4,000 units, right? So it is given material 4,000 kilograms, material equal to next month production required. So next month production is 2,000, January production. Raw material requirement එක 4000 දීලා තියෙනවා, right? එතකොට මේ 4000 කොහොමද අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ? Opening stock එක 4000. Closing stock equal to next month usage, right? ඊළඟ මාසේ usage එක 8000. right? දැන් මේ 4000 අපිට දීලා තියෙනවා stock එකේ. තියෙන ප්‍රමාණය. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් match වෙන්නේ නැහැ. right? නමුත් දැන් තියෙන එකනේ. අපිට තියෙන්නේ 4000. අවුරුදු පටන් ගන්නකොට 4000ක් තියෙනවා. 6000ක් usage කරන්න ඕන 4000ක් already තියෙනවා. Closing stock should be equal to the next month February usage 8000. So you need to be purchased 10,000. 10,000 at 75, 750,000 is the material purchase price of January. February material usage at 8,000 තියෙනවා. Last month closing stock figure, this month opening stock. Next month usage should be the closing stock 12,000. So මේ දෙක tally වෙනවා 12,000 to be purchased. At 75, 900,000 is the cost. March වල usage එක 12,000. Opening stock එකක් තියෙනවා 12,000. April වලට හොයාගන්න. Right. So April production requirement එක හොයාගන්න වෙනවා අපිට. April sales forecast of April 4,000. Right? April වල opening stock එක closing finished goods of March 10,000 become April opening stock. And April closing stock එක වෙන්න ඕන. Here. April closing stock එක වෙන්න ඕනේ. May and June production sales 14,000. Right? Okay, April වල sales එන්න ඕනේ. April production එක වෙනවා. April sales requirement එක තියෙනවා 4,000. more April වල sales April වල sales 4,000. එක දීලා තියෙනවා sales forecast. April වල closing stock එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. equal to the May and June sales. May and June sales are 6,000 plus 8,000, 14,000. ඒ අඩු කරන්න ඕන opening stock එක. April opening stock equal to March closing stock 10,000. Means production. April production 8,000. Right? Clear? The April production එක 8,000 නම් එක unit එකකට material kilograms දෙකක් ඕන නිසා closing stock of material should be 16,000. එහෙම තමයි මේ 16,000 කියන එකේ. Right? Clear? So you need to be purchased 10,000, 12,000, 16,000. 16,000 ආවේ මෙන්න මේ 8,000 production number of kilograms per unit 2. So material usage 8,000 into 2 16,000. That should be your product stock, right? March stock should equal to April usage of raw material. April වල පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රමාණය March වල closing stock එකේ තියෙනවා raw material. එතකොට අපිට එනවා units to be purchased each month. January, February and March. මේක අපිට තෝරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක 75 වැඩි කරාම cost එක අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. Material purchase budget. Material purchase. Yeah. The sales budget, quite straightforward. Sales forecast multiplied by selling price. Production budget, you need to adjust the sales with opening and closing list. Then raw material usage, production multiplied by monthly production multiplied by number of material, right? Then that is 6,000, 8,000, 12,000. So that you can adjust the opening and closing raw material stock. You can find the raw material units to kilograms to be purchased, right? Material usage on a kilograms, right? Material usage kilogram. Material to be purchased. You need to know another material to be purchased. Make up 3 kilogram. Take at the Pahanga, you will get the cost. Then the labor budget, that's quite straightforward. You can have the labor rate multiplied by number of labor hours required. So you are given based on the production, labor hour requirement is given for 1 unit 1.5 labor hours. Hourly rate 120. For January, February, March. Labor hour requirement එක hour. Labor hours කොච්චර ඕනේද? එක යුනිට් එකක් හදන්න පැයකමාරක්. $1.5 hours. Production එක අපි හොයාගත්තානේ. We have the production. Production requirement එක අපි හොයාගත්තා 3000, 4000, 6000. 3000 into 1.5. 4,500. 4,000 into 1.5, 6,000. 6,000 into 1.5, 9,000. Hourly rate 120. Right? I don't know, make our expand කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? Production. Requirement. Production requirement එක අපි දැන් හොයාගෙන තියෙනවානේ 3000යි 4000යි 6000. Production requirement. ඊළඟට labor hours per unit 1.5. මේවට format එකක් නැති නිසා අපිට කැමති විදිහට හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර 1.5 වෙනි වැඩි කරාම labor hours 4,500, 6,000, 9,000. ඒක වැඩි කරා 75යි. දැන් අපි ඔය විදිහට ඕන ඩීටේල් හදාන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේකයි. Then manufacturing overhead cost budget, right? Manufacturing overhead cost, that is here in this activity, we have manufacturing overhead which is straightforward. Your given manufacturing overhead are absorbed on the product on the basis of labor hours. Labor absorption rate is 80 per hour. Labor hours multiplied by 80. The labor hours අපි හොයාගත්තා. ඒක 80 වැඩි කරන්න. Right? Labor budget එකේ දැන් labor hours තියෙනවා 4,500, 6,000 and 9,000. Absorption rate is 80. Right? Quite straightforward calculation. Right? I'll show you the answer for the calculate කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. Right? 4,500යි 6,000යි 9,000යි 80 වැඩි කරන්නේ. That's quite straightforward.
Election में अपनी 30% नहीं मुझको लगता है डिपेंडेंट हमारे तो पूरे की राहुल की तरह स्कूल है तंजलि ने छोड़े काटो जन ध्यान छोड़ रहे उनको नहीं सिटी का
Correct? So these budgets are quite straightforward, right? Labor hours multiplied by the hourly rate. Non-manufacturing cost budget. So you were given 3 non-manufacturing costs, right? Non-manufacturing cost items keep at the here. AK distribution, admin and depreciation fixed. 15,000 per month, 25,000 per month, 10,000 per month. Only variable selling expense vary 20 rupee per unit. ඒක විතරයි sales unit ගානේ වැඩි කරන්න වෙන්නේ. Right? Selling expenses 20 per unit. Sales budget එක අපි හොයාගත්තනේ say number of unit purchase on. මුලින්ම අපි හිතුවා sales budget එක. දැන් sales forecast එකේ තියෙනවනේ කෙලින්ම 2000, 2000, 3000. So manufacturing overhead, variable selling expenses, distribution, admin, depreciation, total non-manufacturing overhead. Can you complete this? Again, distribution, admin, and depreciation fixed. Variable selling expense එක විතරක් 20 rupee into 2000, 20 rupee into 2000, 20 rupee into 3000. Right? Distribution fixed, admin fixed, depreciation fixed. Quite straightforward, right? Variable selling expense එක 2000 into 20, 2000 into 20, 3000 into 20. Distribution, admin, and depreciation fixed 15,000, 25,000, and 10,000. So you can have the total non-manufacturing overhead. January 90,000, February 90,000, and March 110,000. මේ budget ටික lazy, right? Labor budget එක, manufacturing overhead, non-manufacturing overhead, right? These are quite straightforward. Amaru budget calculations ඕන වෙන්නේ අපි ඊළඟට කතා කරන්න budget scheme. Where we have to prepare the cash budget, budgeted income statement and budgeted balance sheet master plan. Exam එකට ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගත් වෙලාවට මේ අතරමැද budget සමන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේ තොරතුරු ටික දෙනවා. right? ඔයාලට හදාන්න වෙන්නේ production budget එක material සමහර වෙලාවට test කරන්න පුළුවන්. Your cash budget, budgeted income statement and budgeted balance sheet. මේවා basically තොරතුරු ටිකම තියෙනවා. ආයේ මේක budget එක හදන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේකෙන් අරගෙන cash budget එක හදන්න. මේක අරගෙන income statement එක හදන්න පුළුවන්. Right? And the other thing about now your assignment, we have 2 assignments are given, right? Individual report, topic allocation, guideline for individual report, topic allocation for group presentation, deadline එක දාලා තියෙනවා, right? Presentation එක මේකේ මම දාන්න template එක familiar, right? එන්නේ PowerPoint presentation එකේ same template, right? Group presentation. So basically, you have to have the topic and group number, group members lagi nama, registration number, slide number, presentation order kita dah, right? ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ group එකේ පහද 10ද ඉන්නේ right එතකොට මේකෙදි අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් count කරන්න presentation එක slide number 4 වල ඉඳලා right මොකද මේක topic එක slide එක දැම්මා මේක group members ටික දැම්මා content page එක දැම්මා right ඒකයි විස්තර කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ you have to start with your slide right time allocated per member around 4 minutes right මම කිව්වා approximately 4 minutes එතකොට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් presentation is due on 29 right දෙකයි right අපර සතියේ individual report group report එක එනවා group report මේ individual report right individual report and ඊට පස්සේ ඉතිනාමයි මොකද දැන් අපි යන්නේ මේ අද දෙකක් යනවානේ එතකොට දෙකක් යනවා කියන්නේ අපි 70 වගේ නේ අපේ මේ 10 right friends week එක තමයි in presentation right 11යි තියෙන session right 10 පස්සට දාන්න බෑ right presentation එක එනවා 29 මම මේ week දෙක ගන්නවා සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට right ඊට පස්සේ ඕනනම් අපිට පුළුවන් අන්තිම සතිය වගේ ඉන්හාන්සර් මෙසේජ් කරේ right okay right then we'll get a short break after the break we are moving to the more important part cash budget and budgeted financial statement right exam එක මොකක් වෙලාවට එන්නේ ඒක මේ knowledge එක ඕන වෙනවා ඒකට right so we move to that to the break Then we can go to the cash budget. Right, cash budget. We prepare it. These columns. Okay, first we can have the format. Cash budget, we can have this format. Receipt we have from debtors and cash sale, and there is an investment disposal. Only 3 receipts. Payments we have direct labor, manufacturing overhead, variable selling, distribution, admin, tax, dividend, creditors, that is the raw material. There is no order, right? You can start whatever the way, that only thing we have to identify all the payments.
चेक करना चाहिए ना मैंने करना senior assignment ये कि जूनियर के बच्चा मोटा वाला वो दस मिनट फिर मंथली मिले एक बार मैं एक हफ्ता पड़ेगा अकाउंटेंट में कर जी पे करेगा लेकिन ये होता है हमारा अकाउंटेंट वो केवल एक केवल टिकट कर सर्वे इंटरिंग कर में आता है දැන් planning එකේ තියෙන දැන් පුර පාස් කරනවා. Excel එක කරන දෙයක් Excel එක දැක්කම මුළු තේරුම් ගත්තා මුළු එකෙක් මේක කරලා දෙන්නේ. මේ කරගන්න ඊට පස්සේ මේ අයිපයි මොකක් කරන්නේ කියලා. ඔය යමන හෙල්ප් කරා හෙල්ප් කරා තමයි පිටාගෙන මට ඊට මොකක්ද පදනයක් තියෙන්නේ. අර ගෙන්නගෙන ඉන්න කතා වෙන ගොඩක් 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 ඊට කොහොමද රුව යන්නේ කියලා. මොඩල් එකකට වගේ මම ගමනක් මට ඇන්ටි කරන්න හිතෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක බලන්න නෑ. අලුතෙන් කැපුණා නම් ආර කැපුණා කියන්නේ නැහැ. උචාවලා ඉස්සරහ ඕකනඩ ඉන්න කරන පර්මනන්ට් කියන ඒ පර්මනන්ට් අපහායකට ඉන්ටර්න්ෂිප් වගේ දාන්න ඉවයිද Why the one say I'm feeling like manager planning Baba lagi anda boleh naik apa mudah ni itu nanti ya baik ada baik sebab kita average mahal ya average baik ඒක තාමත් කරේ ඉන්නකොට ගියාම ගන්නවා කියන පොඩියුම් තමයි ඉස්සරහ
One by one editor information and page state. Right. Receipt, we can have two forms. Three forms, mainly two forms. Cash sales and from debtors. Debtors collection. We need a working. Here we have opening balance sheet sale of November, December. We have balances. Debtors collection. November sales. December sales, January sales, February sales, March sales. And collection you can take from January, February, March. Right. අපිට තියෙනවා November sales and December sales. November sales amount එක කීයද? November sales වලින් debtor balance එකක් ඉන්නවා 256. Right? 256. December sales වලින් ඉන්නවා debtor 600. Right? Now, what is the credit policy? When we make a credit sale, 50% is going to be received during that particular month. 30% in the following month, balance 20% after 2 months. November sales 50% already collected, 30% also collected in the December. That means 31st December balance. This 256 represent 20% of the sales, isn't it? මේ තියෙන්නේ 120, ඉතිරි 120. Right? ඕක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ජනවාරි වල හම්බෙන්න ඕන. දැන් මේ 256 entire ජනවාරි වල හම්බෙන්න. This is the data amount receivable from November sales, what is available on 31st December balance sheet, which is equal to 20%. December sales were in high season period. That is as a percentage of sales here. Credit sales were in because when you make sales in December, 50% collect during the December, balance 50% remain. From that, 30% going to receive in the next month, January. ये कहने 50 30, right? මේ තියෙන්නේ 50. ICA कहने full sales නෙමෙයි. Right? This is the data balance available 31st December. This equal 50% of the total sales. ඒකේ 50 30. December balance 20 out of 50 in January. Right? Then January credit sales. You are at the January credit sales 960. January credit sales 960. The 960 කියන්නේ 100% credit sale එක January වල. That 50% we are going to receive from this credit sale. 50% received during January, 30% in February, 20% in March. That is how we are going to collect this January sales. 960. February credit sales 960 again. 960. වලින් එනවා නම් මේක 1000 කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. රයිට් මම අන්තිමට 1000 කරලා දාන්න. මොකද අපි අනිත් ඒවා ඔක්කොම හැදුවේ රුපීස් වලින්. මේක මම 1000 වලින් දාලා ඉතින් මම රුපීස් වලට කන්වර්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද මෙහෙම. නැත්නම් මම දැන් මෙතන රුපීස් 1000 වලින් තියෙනවා. රයිට්. නමුත් අපි ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක රුපීස් වලින් හදපු නිසා මම උඩට ගන්නකොට රුපීස් වලට කන්වර්ට් කරලා මේක ගන්නවා. 960 February sales, right? Now you can see the 50. Received in February, another 30%. Received in March. That's 20% receivable. March sale 1,140. 1,440. Credit sale. From this, 50% will be received in March. That's it. Balance 50% receivable. In a total collection, collection from debtors during the January, February, and March will be 1,096, 1,008, and 1,002. Yeah, we working කරලා මේක හොයාගන්න. Amount එක මේ percentage of credit sale. Credit sale percentage එකක් තිබෙලුවොත් November sales වලින් 20%යි දැන් ඉතිරි වෙලා තියෙනවා. December sales වලින් 50ක් තියෙනවා. January, February, March full sale එක තමයි ඔය තියෙන්නේ. Amount. Right? So I'm taking this from debtors, receipt from debtors, 1,096. Wanna make up the rupees 1,000 million more than the good one. Right? 12,000 million. At the 1,090,000 right? And 480,000. Total also rupees 1,000. Other budgets up to now we prepared in rupees. So here you have round up it rupees 1,000. Can keep this also for rupees 1,000 only. 1,096, 1,008, and 1,009. Cash sales we have already calculated the sales budget. 332, 332, 232, 232, 348. 32, 32, 348. That you can take from your This is the same budget. Sales budget එකේම එන්නලා තියෙනවා. Right? Then we have an investment. Even it is expected to trade investment, sell the trade investment for market value 250 during the month of January. And in January වල cash inflow එකක් එනවා 250. 6,000. Bond committee February or March. Total receipt එක පිට හොයා ගන්න පුළුවන්. $1,578,000. Like this total. Right? Now, direct labor, straightforward, we had prepared the labor budget. So the direct labor cost is 540, 720,080, and we were told direct laborers are paid during the month which are incurred, right? And after ගන්න පුළුවන් කෙලින්ම 540, 720, 1,080. Take it out. Manufacturing overhead. So given manufacturing overhead 360, 480, 720. Now this is overhead. Manufacturing overhead cost include annual depreciation of machinery 120. Fixed overhead cost is incurred equal amount of each month and paid in the month every year it incurred. In a monthly machinery depreciation 10,000 included in this cost. So that you have to remove because it is not a cash pay. Right? Master 10,000 විතරක් මේකේ අයින් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් 360 වෙනුවට 350 ගන්න වෙනවා. 480 වෙනුවට 470. 720 වෙනුවට 710. 350 470 710. Manufacturing overhead cost annually 120 evenly throughout the period means monthly 10,000. Right? So you can take 350 470 70. Variable selling expense. අපි වෙනම non manufacturing cost එක හොයාගත්තා. Non manufacturing budget. Variable selling 40 40 60. You can take that 40 40 60. Distribution 15 15 15. And admin 25 each. Depletion is not a cash flow. Then the tax. Income tax for the first quarter 40,000 estimated. 40. And it will be paid on 31st March together with income tax payable last year. So we have the opening balance sheet. Income tax payable 30. 30 plus 40, 70 should be the tax. And this income tax. Income tax payment would be 70. Last year 30, this year 40. Altogether 70. Dividend is given in the additional information. Expected to pay proposed dividend during the month of February. So there is a proposed dividend already accounted 50, which is going to pay in February. Dividend 50. Raw material payment. So you are given the raw material purchase payment for raw material to be made average 2 months after the delivery. You can raw material ඔක්කොම credit, right? So then අපේ trade creditors ලා ඉන්නවා. November purchase 300 ඉන්නවා. ඔය 300 ගෙවන්නේ January වල. December purchase 375 February ගෙවනවා. January credit purchase එක මාර්ච් වල ගෙවනවා. 300 375 January purchases you can take from the purchase budget. Material purchase budget, January purchase amount is 750, which is paid in 2 months. So 750 is paid in March. So here you can have the total. Here you get the total payment. Now from the receipt, when you deduct the payment, you can have net cash.
Opening account.
Now opening cash balance, which is available in the statement of financial position 31st December, 644 cash opening balance. That down the closing balance. This closing balance become opening balance of next year. Opening balance එක ගන්න පුළුවන් මෙතන අපිට මුල opening balance එක. First January closing balance එක එනවා. End of the March. මේක එකතු කරන්න බෑනේ opening balance එක මාස තුනේම opening balance එක විදිහට ගත්තොත් total column එකේ එන්න ඕනේ first January opening balance. Closing balance should be 31st March closing.
total but opening balance actually quarter last week closing balance opening balance opening balance expenses total balance closing balance
Closing balance is 10 years low. Oh,
Okay. It is the cash budget. Right. Full cash budget. Then next we can prepare the budgeted income statement. Normally income statement we will prepare for the 3 months ended, quarter ended, right? Take a monthly, other not පුළුවන් right? Now the AOA stock එක වෙන production cost එක time consuming and සාමාන්‍ය cash budget okay, you can have it for each month. But for the quarter ending, 3 months ending, we can have the statement of profit dollars because we prepare the balance sheet also end of the March month. Like period එක අවසානයේ. So I'm going to prepare the statement of budgeted income statement and the budgeted statement of profit dollars for 3 months ending 31st March 2024. Right? දැන් අපි මේ බලන්නේ මාස 3ේම ටෝටල් එක අරගෙන right සාමාන්‍ය විදිහේ income statement එක. Sales, cost of sales අපි ගන්න opening finished goods, total manufacturing cost, closing stock. Then we can have the gross profit. We have other income from disposal of investment, profit from disposal of investment. Expenses තියෙනවා non-manufacturing overhead වර්ග 4, variable selling, distribution, admin and depreciation. Then profit before tax, income tax, profit for the people. Can have the format first. Right? Now, what is the sale? We have already calculated the total sale from the sales journey, sales budget. Sales budget එකේ තියෙනවනේ sales total එක. Right? Right? Sales, you can take the total sales from the sales budget. Whether it is cash sales or credit sales, doesn't matter. Total sales. All 3 months, 4,172. Right? 4,172 sales. And having it in rupees 1,000. Right. Opening stock finished goods. Take a deal on a we are given that finished goods from the balance sheet. Opening inventory. This is 31st March inventory 1,800. Right, 1,800. Total manufacturing cost. How to get the total manufacturing cost? Total manufacturing cost එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන්නේ direct material. So cost of direct material තියෙන්නේ purchase. Right. Direct material usage cost එකක් නැහැ. Direct material usage cost එක අපිට හොයාගන්න. මේ manufacturing cost එකට පොඩි work එකක් වෙනවා මෙතන. Direct material cost. Direct material cost එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Direct material cost එක opening direct material stock plus direct material purchase minus closing direct material stock. You will get direct material consumed. ඔය ටික ගත්තාම direct material consumed cost එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. What is the opening direct material cost? It is given in the direct material stock. Raw material 300. Cost of raw material 300. Direct material purchase during January, February, March. Total material purchase 2,850. You can take that from the material purchase budget. 2,850. Closing raw material stock. We have it here. Closing raw material stock. 16,000 unit at 75. Right? March වල raw material stock එකක් තියෙනවනේ. Closing stock එක raw material 16,000. 16 into purchase price 75,200. So you will get the direct material cost. Direct material usage. Direct labor. Manufacturing overhead. Right? So direct labor cost you can take from the labor budget. Direct labor budget. $2,340. Manufacturing overhead we can take from the manufacturing overhead budget. 1,560. Material labor overhead. So here you will take the total manufacturing cost. $5,850. Total manufacturing cost 5,800. Right, 5,800. Now the closing inventory. ඔය manufacturing cost එක ඇතුලේ inventory value කරන්න ගන්නේ prime cost එක විතරයි. So what is the prime cost? Prime cost is material and labor. Right? Prime cost is material and labor. Number of units produced. අපි මේ මාස්ටර් ඔක්කොම unit කීයක් හැදුවද? Then take it from the production budget. Budget production requirement එක තියෙනවා January, February, March මාස තුනේ අපි හදලා තියෙනවා unit 13,000. $3,000, $4,000, $7,000 plus $6,000, $13,000. Right? 13,000 හදලා තියෙනවා opening stock එකක් තිබිලා තියෙනවා $4,000. අපි ඔක්කොම කොහොමද 13,000 හදලා තියෙනවා 3 4 6 30 ඕකේ finish goods කොච්චරක් තියෙනවා මේ කාලය තුල හදලා තියෙන ඔක්කොම production requirement එක තියෙන්නේ 13,000 finish good එකක් තියෙනවා March වල 10,000 right එහෙනම් closing stock එක number of unit produced 13,000 1000 වලින් ගත්තොත් 13 1000 වලට closing stock තියෙනවා 10,000 units and our the closing stock එක value කරා closing stock is 10 out of 30 3,300 in our closing stock $4,290 10 out of 30 හරි නේද production එකයි closing stock එකයි production budget එක නෙමෙයි 3,000 7,000, 13,000, හැබැයි ඒකේ 10,000ක් විතරයි. මොකද මෙතන බැලුවොත් 13,000 හදනවා ඕපනින් ස්ටොක් එක 4,000 තියෙනවා. එතන ඔක්කොම 17,000. හැබැයි විකුණන්නේ 2,2,3,7. 17 minus 7 closing is 10. Right? Closing 10. Right? And බැලුවත් closing 10 ඉතිරි වෙනවා. Right? 2,000ක් ඕපනින් ස්ටොක් තිබුණා. 13,000 හදනවා 4,000 ඕපනින් ස්ටොක් තිබුණා. 13 හදනවා 17 විකුණලා තියෙන්නේ 7. So 10,000 closing. Right? දැන් අපිට මේක ගන්න පුළුවන් closing stock finished good. මෙතනදී අපිට total manufacturing cost එක නෙමෙයි බෙදුවේ prime cost එක විතරයි, because it is clearly mentioned in the question finished goods are measured at prime cost. So manufacturing overhead considered as a period cost. Right? ඒක this is a policy. Right? එහෙනම් cost of sales එනවා 1,000. Full cost එක නෙමෙයි. මේක අපිට කියන්නේ මේ ගාණ කියන්නේ prime cost එක. Manufacturing overhead are absorbed production based variable. Finished goods are valued at prime cost. Right? මෙන්න මේ වාක්‍ය නිසා තමයි මේක gross loss එකක් කියන්නේ. මොකද manufacturing overhead එක fully charge වෙනවා. දැන් මේකම ගත්තා නම් 4,500. අපි මේ වාක්‍ය අයින් කරමු මේක close එකක් එන නිසා. Right? So we'll remove this part. කිව්වේ නැත්තම් manufacturing cost එක ඒ කියන්නේ accounting standards වලට අනුව ගියොත් අපි full cost එක measure කරනවා. The full cost එක total manufacturing cost එක 5,850. Number of unit produced 13,000. ඒ නිසා එතනම ගන්නවා 4,500. Right? ගාණ කියලා කියන විදිහට අපි හැදුවේ. හැබැයි එතකොට gross loss එකක් එන්නේ. Right? Which is quite unusual. So I'm taking this minus. So we are taking a gross profit of 1,022. Right. Full cost එක 5,850. 5,850 divided by 13 into 10. 4,500. Right. We have an investment. Investment with the book value of trade investment. We have a book value of 200, and it is planning to sell this investment for 250. So there is a profit on disposal 50. 250 වලට book value is 200. There's a 50 other income. Right. Then variable selling expense. can take them from the production budget. Variable selling expenses 140, distribution 45, administrative 75, depreciation 30. So you can have it 140, 45, 75, 30. Full part is 290. So profit before tax 700. $82, income tax 40, expense 40, get the profit for the year. $742.
I think the other thing of the cash the cash outflows, the out of the closing effect, but for the recommended. Variance and this is why.
Right? Now we can have the balance sheet. Statement of financial position. Okay. So the statement of financial position, we can have the format first. We have non-current asset, property, plant and equipment. We have current asset, 2 inventory, raw material, finished. Now debtors are fully settled within 3 months, right? 50% during the month, 30% 1 month, balance 20% after 2 months. So the January credit sales fully settled by March. So from February sale, 20% remaining. From the March sale, 50% remaining. That would be the debtors, cash and bank. Then equity stated capital, retained earning, creditors. Creditors are settling 2 months time. So February and March purchases should be there. And finally, cash balance negative නම් overdraft වෙනවා. මේක දෙපැත්තට තියලා තියෙන්නේ. එක තැනක් fill වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? we can actually handle it and we don't know, right? Whether it's a PO negative. Maybe we can the main, right? Have you practically gone other than the anti right? Elisa may automatically, cash and bank, but only lucky. And complete this. The money budget so the total ticket make a figure again. BB will work a pendulum, right? Property plant and equipment, balance sheet 1,400 that again amount. The depreciation market they have plant and machinery 120,000 per year. Right? Rate 10-30. It per se non-manufacturing overhead plus 10,000 monthly depreciation, can into 330. Altogether 60 depreciation be 1,400 million. That carrying amount again our 60 or right. Property, plant and equipment. Non-current asset, property, plant and equipment, 1,400 minus 60, 1,340. Current asset, the inventory raw material. We had that earlier manufacturing cost calculation, raw material closing stock 1,200. We have already calculated. Right? And it's working fully currently. Finished good, we have already calculated finished good closing stock 4,500. Debtors from February credit sales. We had the cash budget. February sales 960. Okay, maybe 80% hambeladi. 50% during February, 30% during March. So balance 20%, 960 to 20%. In March sales, total March sales 1,440. Okay, 50% half puna. 720, 50% receivable. So which is 720. From the cash budget, we had the cash budget here. Finally, March we have 665 negative in the cash balance. Cash sheet. So you total at the 7,950. The equity stated capital no change. You can take opening stated capital given in the question, right? Stated capital on which are 3,000. Retained earning. Opening retained earning given in the question 1,445. Current year profit. We had statement of profit dollar 700 profit. Are we paying any dividend out of this profit? No. There is a dividend payment. You are given that opening balance sheet proposed dividend we are paying. Not from this, right? Dividend payable balance එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඒක තමයි ගෙවනවා කියන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව මේ profit එකකින් කොටසක් ගෙවනවා කියනවා ඒක අඩු කරන්නේ. right? අර liability එකෙන් තමයි ගෙවන්නේ. So 1,445 plus 742. Current liability creditor You can have the total purchases of February and March. Yes. Purchase budget එකෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Entire purchase of raw material. Raw material purchase. Of February 900, March 1200. 900 and 1200. Bank overdraft 600. 65. Telephone. 7,950. Right? So examination context, you'll be able to work out master budget, cash budget. ඔයගේ වගේ තමයි එන්නේ. right? පොඩි budget ගහගන්න එන්නේ Excel එකට. right? ඒක ගාන කියනවා ඒකවල ටික. මෙච්චර line item කියවට අඩු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. right? now the main concept ටික check වෙන්න. right? You better practice this sum. right? Now you have the answer, right? You better practice the same question, right? මේ ගාන හදන්න පුළුවන් නම් මේ පහළ වෙන ගාන මොකක්ද හදන්න පුළුවන්. right? This is the depreciation. දැන් අපිට පටන් ගන්නකොට දීලා තියෙනවා 1400 opening balance sheet එක. There are two types of depreciation. Depreciation වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Right? 1400 carrying amount and you are given within manufacturing overhead include මෙතන non manufacturing overhead වල 10000 තියෙනවා මාස 3ට 30යි. then manufacturing overhead include annual depreciation 120, that means 3 months another 30. Altogether 60. එතන වාර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා. manufacturing overhead වල depreciation තියෙනවා. non manufacturing වල depreciation. right? Manufacturing overhead depreciation including manufacturing overhead. Non manufacturing overhead depreciation we charge to P&L. right? That 10 into 3 months, 30. Okay. Clear? Right? So you have to work out this question again, right? Now you have the full answer that you have attended, but try to attempt it by yourself again. So then again, you may find some questions after. Right? So you can again refer to the detailed answer, right? Okay, right. So then we said we can wind up today's session, right? So we have 2 more sessions, right? 3 more sessions, right? 3 sessions. And actually 2 sessions. Last session would be presentation, right? Your group presentation. Not last session, 10th session, right? So next week we'll have the discussion. Week after next would be the presentation. Right? Okay, so we wind up.